South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace just had yet another public meltdown, this time at Charleston International Airport. A shouting match, a camera, and a full-blown PR disaster later, she somehow made it worse by holding a press conference to defend herself. It's the perfect snapshot of today's Republican Party, entitled, chaotic, and allergic to accountability. Welcome back, everyone. Let's unpack how one GOP lawmaker turned a routine airport stop into a political circus and why it perfectly sums up the current Republican brand of dysfunction.
With the first alert in the Low Country, South Carolina Representative and candidate for governor Nancy Mace is now addressing concerns about a recent encounter that she had at the Charleston airport.
Mace is accused of cursing at TSA agents. Now, this is brand new video from overnight showing Mace getting there to the Charleston International Airport. According to a police report, officers were told she would arrive in a white car, but instead she showed up late and in a different colored car. The report says Mace was very irritated and called the TSA agents, quote, incompetent. A spokesperson for her campaign says Mace was complaining because safety concerns and recent death threats have come her way. In a new statement released this morning, Mace is calling for accountability at the airport.
They have repeatedly compromised my safety by releasing the video of the vehicle that I was in, doxes that vehicle. They also released the location of where I get dropped off. So the irony here that this is an airport trying to keep me safe and secure when they are actually compromising my safety and security is egregious.
So the Congresswoman, who's been in Washington long enough to know how security lines work, is now claiming she was doxxed by TSA. If this story stopped there, it'd just be embarrassing. But Nancy Mace doubled down in an interview that's so off the rails, even Fox News didn't know what to do with her.
Before you go, there are reports that you were involved in a heated confrontation with airport police and TSA agents at the Charleston International Airport Thursday. You posted this on X. TSA wouldn't let me through. So what happened?
Well, one of the rumors last week was that I was blocked by TSA, which was not, in fact, true. Yes, I did have an interaction on Thursday. I want to be very clear here. We saw last year 2 assassination attempts on President Trump. Just a few weeks ago, we all witnessed as Charlie Kirk was assassinated right before our eyes in public. We've seen that Steve Scalise years ago was shot, 4 or 5 times? And in the political environment we have today, there's no room for error when it comes to security. I have at this particular airport and no other. This is the only airport where I have any issues, but my children have had issues here, my employees, but we have had over 24 security breaches at this particular airport just 11 months into this year today. I've been in 4 airports in the last 5 days without incident. So yes, I did confront those who did not show up to do the job. My safety was put at risk. I have had incidences at airports. I had an incident in Chicago earlier this year where a man followed me through the airport, and the Chicago airport security was very swift to ensure that I was safe and get that individual out of there. I had other incidences where someone tried to physically have an altercation with me at one of the D.C. airports. I'm grateful to the Capitol Police for stepping in, but this is a serious issue, and mediocrity when it comes to airport security and security breaches will not be tolerated when I'm governor and not when I'm in Congress for nobody.
But so why wouldn't they let you through? That's the part that I'm not quite understanding here. What was their reasoning?
They did let me through. I was let through.
Okay,
yeah, I was let through.
Right.
But there's a federal process under TSA rules that require federal officials to have law enforcement personally escort us through the crew member line. So there's a process. I waited patiently. I asked for assistance from TSA. They were very helpful. And so we did it eventually. But you know, what the Charleston Airport did was also release details about the vehicle that I was dropped off at, putting my safety at risk on Thursday. They released details on where I get dropped off at the airport by releasing video. It's all scary for an individual. I have more than 1,300 death threats a year. And so I take my security very, very seriously. I don't want to be the next person that gets shot and killed.
And and to be clear, other elected officials have used that crew member line and
all
so
the time.
So this is why. So maybe you're feeling you were maybe targeted by these agents and it was unfair.
Oh, I absolutely have been targeted at this airport. But thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Okay, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, thank you for explaining that. We really appreciate it. It's great to see you as always. Thank you for.
So just to recap, Nancy Mace claimed Charlie Kirk was assassinated, which, spoiler alert, never happened. and implied that TSA agents at Charleston Airport were part of some conspiracy to endanger her. This is the same Nancy Mace who once condemned Donald Trump for January 6th, before turning around and endorsing him again. She's also campaigning for governor on law and order, while publicly berating airport security officers who literally protect the public. Maybe the real problem isn't airport security. Maybe it's the Republican Party's addiction to self-victimization, where every scandal becomes a fundraiser, every tantrum a campaign ad. Here's the truth. TSA agents aren't the villains here. They're working unpaid during a shutdown that Republicans created. So instead of screaming at the people keeping planes safe, maybe try doing your job, Congresswoman, like funding the government, extending healthcare subsidies, and paying federal workers again. Because if Nancy Mace wants to prove she can handle leadership, she might start by handling airport security with the same respect she demands for herself. Thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, should lawmakers be held to the same travel rules as everyone else?